Here to talk a little bit of 2020 fantasy football QBs. We're going to try and keep on topic here. We're going to try and stick to the QBs, try and stick to the top 10 QBs, try and stick to the guys you think could be top 10, could fall out. We can talk busts, we can talk sleepers, we can talk drafting guys where we think they should go. We can talk anything closely related to top 10 QBs for 2020. So ask your questions, fire away. I'm going to start this off by telling you, if you thought Kyler Murray was going to fall into good, valuable, high upside, low risk territory, you're sadly mistaken. Heading into 2020, Kyler Murray has now climbed into the number 3 QB spot. But I think that Tom Brady is climbing high. There's a potential that maybe because some of the QBs down, like Brady at 5-6, because they're becoming so much more valuable, maybe people wait on Kyler Murray a little more than they would have had Kyler Murray been all by himself in like the top, 3 rounds or whatever, without anybody kind of nearby. Now that Tom Brady's climbing in value, now that people are starting to like Russell Wilson more and more each day, it seems, this offseason, I've seen him climb a lot. Now that people are getting really amped up about Josh Allen, people are getting hyped on Wentz. I think even though those guys are below Kyler Murray, because they're rising, it's pulling Kyler Murray maybe outside of the third, late fourth. Maybe Kyler Murray goes at 5.01 in a couple drafts where people aren't QB hungry at all. Maybe Kyler Murray goes in the end of the third, still in your heavy QB buddy league. It kind of all depends. Getting Brady late's a good strategy, absolutely. JP Cousins, I guess, is okay. They really dialed back that pass attack under Stefanski in 2019. There's a really good shot that they pass a lot more in 2020. I believe they're going to keep pretty much everything the same for the most part, though, but coaching changes always do kind of change things up. So I wouldn't say that everything's going to be exactly the same. Can't mock draft right now. I'm out and about on the streets, baby. So can't do a mock out here. But Mahomes in the fourth is a great strategy. No, Tannehill's dad. Mahomes in the fourth is not a great strategy because you won't find Mahomes in the fourth. What league do you play in? Tannehill's dad. Mahomes in the fourth, you won't ever see that. What's up, Robin? Big Buffalo 76 in the house. What's up, man? Glad to have you. So, crank out your top 5 QBs. Long time, Walker. You think Allen could be top 5? Allen could be top 5. I don't draft him right at 4 or 5. I'm still drafting Watson. I still like Watson a lot. He runs a lot. I think, it's going to hurt him to lose Hopkins, but I think he can still do a lot of damage. I think he can do top 4 to 5 QB damage. Would I be opposed to taking Tom Brady 2 rounds later? I'd rather have Tom Brady 2 rounds later than Watson at pick number, 4.05. If I can get Tom Brady in the 6th round or 7th round, I'll take Tom Brady back there. Which is kind of funny because I had freaking Tom Brady at like 6, 5, 6, 7. And right when he got traded, I heard nothing but, oh my God, like, you have Tom Brady way too high. He's done, noodle arm. But why is everybody settling into all of a sudden? Did it just take some time? Why is everybody saying Tom Brady's top 5 or 6 now when you got shit on if he was in your top 8 months ago? So it's weird. You drinking tonight? No. Mahomes, Murray, Lamar, Watson, Russ, the top 5 for you this year, Robin. Mahomes, Murray, Lamar, Watson, Russ. Yeah, I mean, you can't argue with that. It's a good group. I think Lamar goes 2, but Lamar could get banged up. Maybe that's what you're predicting there. Stafford, Second points per game behind Lamar. I mean, Stafford's sneaky, but you better grab a guy just like Stafford to back up Stafford because you need two quarterbacks about that caliber. I don't drink a whole lot double A. If I'm going to, I'd rather get hammered quick. So anything hard, whatever. But I don't. I'm not a big drinker. I'm a worker bee, bro. I'm always at my computer. I probably should drink while I draft at least one or two times. You guys would get a kick out of it. Mahomes, Lamar, Russell Wilson, Murray, Watson. Can't argue with that order. Thoughts on rookie QBs like Herbert and Tua? This is a top 10 QB edition, but if you could maybe spin that on me and say top 10 dynasty QB, one of these guys, and then I'm forced to talk about it. Herbert, maybe. Tua, I'm not buying it, man. I'm not flat out calling him a bust, but I don't know that I like Tua as a potential top 10 QB for the future. I just don't think I have him there yet. I'm open-minded if I start seeing him deliver, but I think I'm staying clear of that for a while. Ryan Tannehill was playing top 10 for a stretch last year. Why not? I think I draft him near the end of that top 10 or draft him outside the top 10 in hopes for top 10 numbers. Brissett, no. Tannehill's dead. Tom Brady, top 7 with top 2 upside. That's an interesting way to, sure, you can't argue it. Big range, though. Lock, top 10 mechanic is asking if Lock is a top 10. Lock to me is probably borderline with a chance for me being on board as I see more. Too many times a fantasy football analyst will tell you yes or no, and I'm being honest with you guys. I always am. I don't know. I need to see more of Lock. This is one of those I don't have an answer for you. I don't feel good telling you one way or the other. I'm not going to tell you bust. He has too many weapons. It's kind of like Jameis Winston, where I didn't like Winston, but the weapons were there. And I found myself looking at my rankings every week, and I'm like, how the hell do I have Godwin and Evans top 5, both of them, heading into 2019? Even midway through. So Godwin was climbing, not top 5. Godwin was top 11 heading into last year, top 11, top 12. A lot of people didn't have him high until they came out and said, hey, he's going to have a 100-catch season or whatever. And then everybody and their mother wanted him. He's drafted in the 3rd round. I had him as a 7th to 10th round breakout in January when he was going in the 7th round. And I had him as like a top 11 to 12. It could have been 14. But at mid-season, when I'm doing rankings, even when I'm doing weekly rankings, I'd be sitting there scratching my head going, okay, Godwin's now in the top 5. Evans is in the top 5. And why do I have Winston at 8? And I kept scratching my head every week. And I'm like, based on situation, I have to put Winston high. So I feel like I'm there with Locke. Like I have to put him in the top 10 or right around 10. But I don't feel great about it until I see more out of this guy. I just don't. But the weapons are there for him to for sure do that. I mean, what else can happen at that point, Bold prediction, Dak top 4. I don't know how bold that is, Dried Ocean. I mean, he's got the weapons there, man. That's definitely possible. I mean, Dak kind of feels like the value grab at this point because you have everybody forcing Kyler. I shouldn't say forcing. They deserve it. Kyler, Lamar, Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Brady, Watson. Dak is oftentimes the odd man out in the top 6, so he's like 7. And Dak could definitely be, that good. But I find myself continuously ranking Dak around 6 to 7, and I don't feel horrible about it, but I think definitely there's opportunity for Dak to overperform. Prescott, top 5. Wilson over Dak. I don't blame you. Outlook on Big Ben. Yeah, QB stream at most right now. You don't know what he's going to come in weight-wise. But I do think that I would have loved to have seen Winston land in Pittsburgh. I think that would have been a great safety net for freaking Juju, man. But Juju could be the biggest bounce back candidate we've seen in 5 years, man. He could also be another year of letdown material. I don't really know what way I'm leaning. I just made a redraft trade. Tell me what you guys think of this redraft trade. Some of you might even be in the league. A lot of times I turn a mock draft into a league, or I announce, hey, we're going to do a league right now. I don't do a ton of them. I'll probably do 1 to 3 more. Who knows? Probably 5. 1 to 3 more actual leagues with you guys. Follower leagues where we put in a few cookies. Not a lot, but just make it competitive. I don't have time to really commission anything, so it's like really like runs itself. Ghost ship type commissioning by me. And we did this auction draft. You guys probably saw it, the auction draft that I did live on draft day. And we got started late. I had to bail on it about, I don't know, after I had my starting lineup and maybe one bench spot, maybe not even a bench spot. I had to bail on it because I had to do the NFL draft coverage. I tried to like go back and queue a guy or two. I didn't. It just auto bid drafted for me. And I ended up with no backup running or no second running back. It's not very pretty. We almost did a redraft. I would have liked that, but everybody voted down on it. Anyway, tell me what you think of this trade. I traded Eckler. It's a redraft, mind you. Redraft, not dynasty. PPR redraft. I traded Eckler and the second round rookie pick that I had in my first round rookie pick, which was like 8 and 12 or 8. It was like 8 or 9. I forget what pick it was, 8 or 9. And then, of course, I had like the 4th pick or something in the second round. But the rookie picks in redraft. Like the only value you're going to get out of a rookie pick in redraft is a top 4 or 5 pick. Like the rookie wide receivers aren't going to help you all that much. Even Judy, even CeeDee Lamb, they'll be a wide receiver 3 maybe for you. So you really are banking on those running backs only. So I traded Eckler, who I never trade, for the 1.1 in redraft, rookie only draft coming up tomorrow morning. So I'm getting Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So I traded Eckler for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and I got Juju back. And I gave up that 8th overall rookie pick in redraft, which I don't care about. I mean, maybe I get Vaughn there, and then you're looking at Vaughn and Eckler. That would have been pretty good in redraft, but not, I'm not a lock to get Vaughn. Probably wouldn't get Vaughn, actually, because if it's redraft, Vaughn would go in the top 5 or 6. I wouldn't have got Vaughn. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire, yeah, he could start slow. I mean, I've said that for like 50 straight hours on my show. These rookies will start slow, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire is explosive enough to get 5, 6 carries, catch 3 or 4 balls, and have 100 total yards and a touchdown on occasion. But to get Juju and Clyde to give up Eckler and a rookie pick I probably wouldn't even care about or use in redraft, I think it's a good deal for me. And I'm especially hurting at running back, so it's a risky move for me to make. But in that league, I have Mahomes. It's a 6-point per TD league, so I have Mahomes at quarterback. I've got Clyde as my running back 1, and no running back 2 at this point because I auto drafted out. But then I've got who do I have? Galladay, Juju, Kelsey, and Clyde or whatever. So it's not my best team, but I like having the stack, the triple stack burger from Kansas City. I've got Mahomes, CTE, Kelsey out wide. Maybe I can get Hill. Maybe I should trade Hill for Hill. Maybe I can give Juju and Galladay for Hill and somebody, so I can get all 4 of those Kansas City wide receivers and try it out. Did Damian Williams retire? What about Darwin Thompson? Will Clyde play? Tannehill's dad. Tannehill's dad's becoming a negative Nancy lately. Come on, Tannehill's dad comes in and tells me to go to bed. I'm here trying to provide content to you, Tannehill's dad. I just basically I'm picking up the phone, calling Tannehill, and he's like, go to bed. Come on, Tannehill's dad. Stop being a negative dad. Will CTE play, though? Come on, bro. Hey, Pat Mahomes, Andy Reid here. Who do you want in this draft? Clyde. We'll take Clyde Edwards, and we're not going to use him. We'll take him with first-round draft capital, and we won't use him until week 10. Deal? Pat Mahomes said, he didn't say Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He said Clyde. Told Andy Reid one name, and he said Clyde. The Fresh Prince of Helaire. As my boy Zach Ertz, I think, coined, or he heard it and passed it on to me. Prince Edwards, I think, is a lot of people are using Fresh Prince of Helaire. It's cool. I like it, but everybody's using it. I think we're going to say Prince Edwards. Prince Edwards here is how we might roll. Or King Edwards, baby. King. Let's do King. King Edwards, man. King Edwards. That's what we're coining here. That's what we're calling him on the show. Should I trade Jack Doyle for what the? I don't know. Jack Doyle. That's like asking me, should I trade this kicker for that kicker, bro? I don't want to talk about Jack Doyle on a top 10 QB show. Take a lab. Take a lab, ZK. But Perriman, I guess. I mean, Doyle? What are you going to do with Doyle, bro? What's up, Richie? I still appreciate you, ZK. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to yell at you. Pick 2, Jefferson Rager. This is a top 10 QB show, Brandon. But you know I can't resist. Pick 2, Rager, Ruggs and Jefferson, man. Rager's upside, but a lot of risk, man. Josh Allen, I think, could be dangerous to draft high, but by default probably won't get drafted high. So 7 to 10 is probably where you could put him, and he'll probably go 7 to 10 without much of an issue. And if he doesn't, somebody's fallen, bro. So, I mean, I just don't know that I don't know that I love him more than any of those quarterbacks like Brady, Watson, Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott. I mean, I like Josh Allen. He has a lot of upside, but when you're feeling out that should I grab this guy who hasn't quite done it yet, but looks like he's set up to do it, and that's Josh Allen. And there's a player sitting right next to him, though, that has already done it. Russell Wilson, Dak. Dak's got more weapons than ever. Dallas could score a lot of points. It's hard to say, take Josh Allen, who does have as much upside as those guys. He does. But he hasn't done it yet. And it's kind of like, why take that risk? Take Josh Allen after those guys for sure. And then if you get screwed out of getting one of the top dogs that I just mentioned, then Josh Allen's right there and you'll be okay. Thoughts on Matt Ryan? You know, Brandon, that's a good question. Matt Ryan could definitely have a good year. He's got a ton of weapons, man. But how do you rank him higher than the guys I just named? You kind of can't. So low risk territory, yeah. Do I take him over any of those guys I've already mentioned? Even Josh Allen, maybe you call them even, or the wind's blowing that way. Okay, I'll take Josh Allen. The wind blows that way. Wait a minute. Yeah, I'll take Ryan. Like they're that close, but Ryan's not climbing any of those guys, ahead of any of those guys I mentioned, Dak, Russell Wilson on up, even Watson. What's up, Max? Can you tell me where would your where you would take top 5 QB? Sure. Josh Allen has a floor of 200 yards. Yeah, I mean, GMM, I love Josh Allen, but like I was just saying, it's not a negative on him at all. I'm not being negative or critical or doubting him. Like, probably if you looked back, you wouldn't find a single fantasy football analyst that was higher on Josh Allen than I was. last year. Like, if you think you could, send me it in a DM on IG, and I will reply with my top 10 bold predictions, which he was on. My top 10 bold predictions. There's only, let me count them: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and he was on it. So clearly, I liked him enough to put him on that list, that special list, and he did well, and he was a steal, and I like him. But again, we're talking about setting him right next to Dak, setting him right next to Watson, setting him right next to Brady, guys that I feel are already for sure there, and we hope that Allen does climb above or at that level. But why take the risk when you have these for sure bets right next to him? So I like what you're talking about, GMM. Low floor. If you get past those QBs, you get screwed out of one. Dude, Josh is a fantastic QB, 8 or 9 overall that really can be in the conversation of top 6 to 7 overall. But he just has a little more risk to do it. You can even argue Breeze over Allen, and it's not that crazy. You could argue Allen over Breeze. You could argue, I mean, think about it. Let's go through the top 10 QBs. And I don't have it off the top of my head, so if I miss somebody, tell me. Mahomes, Lamar, Kyler. That's my top 3. Number 4, I'd have to say, I want to go Watson. I know a lot of people are like, he lost Hopkins. How can you put him there? Who's he got to throw to? They didn't do a good job drafting. Oh, God. Why wouldn't you go after a CeeDee Lamb? Why wouldn't you go after a CeeDee Lamb? You lose DeAndre Hopkins, and you don't go get yourself a CeeDee Lamb, whatever. I mean, Cooks is good. I like Cooks. Cooks is a pretty, okay ad. So even if we put Russell Wilson at 4 or Brady at 5 or 4, we could just say Watson, Wilson, Brady at 4, 5, and 6, right? Dak at 7. Who am I missing? Stafford's a sleeper, but not in that range. Who am I leaving out? Then you have, so I'm sorry. So we got 3. So we got 4, 5, 6. So we got Watson, Russell Wilson, Brady, Dak, A-Rod, Breeze, then Josh Allen. I mean, damn, it's a loaded top 10. And you know what it's going to have people saying? Well, then why in the hell would you take a QB early, Smitty, when you can get a Drew Brees at 8, 7, a Josh Allen at 8, 9, 10, Rodgers at... Why is Rodgers funny, Kyle? Kyle's laughing, having a good time on our watch because Rodgers cracked the top 8. Kyle, entertain us. Tell us what we did wrong, Kyle. Tell me what we did wrong. Is A-Rod done at 36 years old? Why did the Packers not draft a wide receiver, though? That Houston and Green Bay took a big deuce right in the middle of the table on draft day. I still think Rodgers is going to be a lot better than people are going to expect in 2020. The guy's not done. The guy's got a lot to prove. Jordan Love ain't unseating Rodgers, so give me a break for a while. Rodgers, be the guy that gets Rodgers late in at least one league. A-Rod only threw 1 TD. A-Rod has only thrown 1 TD to a first rounder. Crazy stat. That is a weird... I'd have to look into that. But Rivers has potential to hit top 10 to 12. Maybe. I wouldn't put Rivers in my top 10, but could he be top 10? Yeah, dude. 5 points could separate 9 from like 17. Number 17 overall QB. or 8 and number 14. You know, it could be like 5 or 10 points. So sure. Uh, Green Bay. Green Bay was 13-3 last year. All the Green Bay A-Rod haters out there that gonna crap on A-Rod and tell me that A-Rod sucks. And 13-3, losing Devontae Adams and having no wide receiver help pretty much all year. That's a pretty damn good job that A-Rod did. And they're definitely going to lean back and balance the scales a little bit and pass and run the ball. They won't cut all their running out. They did well. And Dylan's going to help them score TDs in the red zone and goal line situations. That could be bad for Rodgers in a way, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that the A-Rod's not going to have that threat making defenses worry about it, and then A-Rod throw a bunch of those, 5-yard TDs in 2020. He could. They're projected for 8 to 9 wins this year. Who? Green Bay? Well, they had 13 last year, so I don't know who they are. Tell they to come see me, Kyle. Devontae Adams played hurt. People forget that. Yes, JP, they do. Daniel Jones. Oh, Daniel Jones. Daniel freaking Jones. That's why I said I'm out and about. I don't have everything in front of me. Daniel Jones is my number 6-7 QB in 2020. Chew on that. So Daniel Jones, and I'm okay taking Daniel Jones over A-Rod. That's not bold. It may be bold to some people that I'd take Daniel Jones over. I might even take Daniel Jones over Dak. Daniel Jones is going to ball in 2020, and I think you can get him way later than Dak. So don't go doing that. I'm just kind of like being bold with my ranking of it. Big Ben could be top 10, or he could be eating cookies on the sideline. Daniel Jones is about to ball. He's got the best running back in the NFL. You could argue tied with McCaffrey, or if you want to be difficult, if you want to be that difficult person, if you want to be like Tannehill's dad, you could say, oh, McCaffrey's number 1, Smitty. That's fine. Do whatever you want. Say whatever you want. Barkley, Slayton, Ingram when he's healthy. This team is really good, and it's going to improve. They're going to run the football a whole hell of a lot better. They may not be done accumulating talent. Give them time. And I think that this team is going to take a big step forward. Danny Dimes showed us a little bit of what he's capable of doing in 2019, and balled for a little while. Because every QB has his ups and downs their first year commanding things full time. But I think Slayton's going to become really good. And I think Daniel Jones is going to have more time to throw the football than people think, because him and Barkley are going to complement each other. Because if Daniel Jones can be accurate, which I think he will be in 2020, he could be a weapon. He's not going to just be a facilitator of the offense. He will be a weapon. Daniel Jones will be a weapon. And that will keep defenses honest, backed off, to stop Daniel Jones picking them apart. And yes, I said that, picking them apart. He's that good. I like him. And you know what? I laughed at him. Take a lap, Smitty. I already did. Oopsie on me. I was wrong. I'm wrong a lot. People are wrong all the time. People act like they're not wrong. They're dumb. I miss stuff all the time. Just don't tell me I missed on Darrell Henderson yet, because he still has a chance, people. But yeah, I mean, how do you leave Daniel Jones out of your top 6 or 7? How do you leave Drew Lock out of your top 8 to 10? I mean, these are all good questions, guys. And it back to my question, when people say, Smitty, why do you take a QB early when you have so many damn options? What's the difference between Breeze at 8 or 9 and taking Mahomes, number one QB in round, 2.11? And the answer is, depending on the draft, depending on the flow, you can get it wrong going QB early. You can also get it wrong going waiting on a QB and missing that opportunity to dominate that position if you're good at landing those later spots. So you hear me say this a lot. 4 point per TD pass versus 6 point makes a big difference. You give Patty Mahomes 6 points per TD and he scores 45 and he runs for 3, or he scores 44 and runs for 6. This guy is going to win your league. And, same thing for Lamar per start. Lamar worries me because he runs so much. He's probably going to get hurt at some point. Hopefully it's next year or the year after, not this year. And I'm still drafting Lamar because he's exciting. I don't draft a QB early every time because I do want to play the weight on a QB game. But that's the point. These negative Nancys out there, I think they're Tannehill's cousin. They just come at you left and right, and they're like, "You can't take a QB. You can't take a QB early, Smitty. You idiot." Back those people off, Tannehill's dad. Why can't you take a QB early? Who said? Who? Who said? Who said you can't do both? Who said you're not, or who said you're not good enough? You're not smart enough to go get a late sleeper at the QB round everybody's waiting to get their QB at? Who said you can't find the next DJ Chark hiding there, maybe a McLaurin, and pair them with your Mahomes and then compare the two strategies? I took Breeze in round 7, Smitty, and you took Mahomes in round 2. Well, how did my McLaurin pair up against your player you took in round? Like, that's the shit you got to think about. Or take Ingram, for example. Ingram goes in round 6, especially with J.K. Dobbins now. Mahomes in round at 2.12 or 3.01. Ingram round 6 versus, I don't know, Dak in round 6 and Keenan Allen. Or even if you gave someone Mike Evans, somebody really good, Dak and Mike Evans versus Mahomes and Mark. Or no, he's a running back. Who's a running back in? Damn, I got like flies going all over me, itching my face. Let's use running back and running back. So Dak in round 6, Ingram in round 6, Mahomes in round 2, at the end of round 2, and Leonard Fournette in round 2. Are you really going to argue with me that I'm a moron because I draft Mahomes and Ingram versus your Dak and Leonard Fournette? Go suck it. Like, that's an argument that we can make all day long and have plenty of points on each side. Like, how am I not getting through to people on this early QB crap? Because I find myself repeating it over and over and over. And everybody says the same damn thing, like I'm some moron and that I don't know that you can get a good value for QB late. Are you really? Holy shit, the 16 years I've been on CBS Sports Radio, I never thought about the fact that I could get a Drew Brees later. Holy shit. I got to rethink my entire... Holy crap. It's ridiculous. Like, I'm mapping it out right now. Dak in round 6, Ingram in round 6, Mahomes in round 2, Leonard Fournette in round 2. Fournette and Dak versus Mahomes and Ingram. What more do I have to tell you? Like, the point is, that makes sense. You know what also makes sense? I love to play the weight on a QB strategy because guess where I got Mahomes in 2018? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14th round, baby. That's where I got Mahomes. Show me an analyst that had Patty Mahomes number 1 on their bold predictions in 2018. Show me. Because that's where I had him. I miss things too. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. Oh, I hit everything. No, I miss things all the time. But why people come to me and say, Smitty, you're wrong about QBs, when I'm an advocate for waiting on a QB. I'm an advocate for going QB early. I'm a no discriminatory QB drafter. You can draft QBs early. You can draft them late. You could draft them in the middle. They can be short. They can be tall. They can be Kyler Murray. They can be, I don't know who's tall. Joe Flacco. You're wrong on QB's Tannehill's dad. The point is, I love waiting on a QB and landing the next Patrick Mahomes. Who's the next Patrick Mahomes? While there isn't one of those types of breakout players in 2020, Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, and Kyler Murray are the best thing that you can kind of round up to be equivalent, explode from their draft value type quarterbacks. The problem is if Kyler Murray climbs too high, if you draft in our circles, Kyler Murray goes in round 3. I don't know that that's a fair judge of where you're going to find Kyler Murray outside of Sleeper U in the fantasy football show communities, because we're really high on these guys. But you might find Kyler Murray at the end of round 4 in a real like situation outside of our communities who, we're all amped up about Kyler. And that's good value. Kyler Murray can still explode from late 4th round value. Round 6 is amazing, JP. If you can get Kyler Murray in round 6, amazing. I think if you get Kyler Murray in round 5 or later, you want to know who the next Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes is. It's that value. That perfectly placed value of round 5 or later for Kyler Murray gets you that impact QB player. So if you think there's a shot in hell that you could get Kyler Murray in round 5 or later, wait, take the chance, because you have the next Lamar Jackson if you land it. If you don't land it, you've got Breeze, you've got Brady. Brady's one of my favorite backup plans. What did Max say? Fantasy Football Show. Can you tell me where would you take your top 5 QBs in a draft? Yeah, I've been going over that the whole day. I'll try and make it more clear right now. Drake in the 3rd round? Hell no, Drake won't fall in the 3rd round. What league are you? What magazine drafting league are you in? GMM, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about whoever you were asking the question to. If they said they got Drake in the 3rd round, Drake ain't going in the 3rd round. Maybe in your grandma league. Drake's gonna go by the time we draft in August for redraft. Drake's going in the top 12 to 14, top 11, top 12 to 15 minimum. Drake is top 15 bound. Eckler's top 12 to 15 bound. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is top 12 to 15 bound. You don't like where I have Clyde Edwards-Helaire? I'm not talking to any one of you specifically. If it sounds like I'm yelling at you, I'm sorry. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going freaking probably late 2nd round right now. No one has ADP data off of the NFL draft momentum. Nobody knows where Clyde's really going yet. We've only seen 4 or 5 drafts, each of us, and what I'm gathering. And it's really hard for me because I talk them up, and then I've got to look at drafts where my people are drafting. It's inflated. Let's be real. We're inflating the hell out of Clyde Edwards-Helaire because I'm talking them up. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire by August will be going in redraft in the top 12 to 15. He might even be a 1st rounder because people are going to keep inflating his value. And it's going to suck because then you're losing a lot of upside the higher and higher he goes. Tannehill's dad. Another negative Nancy comment, Tannehill's dad. What do we got to do to get you back on the positive side of things, Tannehill's dad? Clyde won't have 10 TDs. Come on. Come on, bro. I'm trying to catch up on these comments. You guys are blasted through here. I've been seeing the net drop to the 4th round. GMM, who are you talking about? Winston. Ear hurts. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is what? Dill, repeat what you're saying too. Can you trade for Clyde Edwards if he struggles the first couple of weeks? Yeah. JP, try that, but I think people are going to be patient with him. Like if he doesn't get going right away, I don't think anybody's going to pull the trigger on a bad trade, but always try. I just speak the facts. Are they facts, Tannehill's dad? Do you have the Gray's Sportsbook Almanac from Back to the Future that tells you that Clyde Edwards-Helaire won't have 10 TDs? You're spitting facts, bro. Go to bed, Tannehill's dad. Winston, a good dynasty option for the next couple of years. I mean, it's not a bad spot for dynasty. I've been talking about it from a redraft perspective whenever I do. It's a good point to bring up. Like, let's talk about Winston from a dynasty perspective. They need somebody. I don't think Taysom Hill is the future. I think Taysom Hill's a sneaky good, like 16 plus or 16 or more teams in your league, meaning, you have literally no quarterbacks to draft at all. Taysom Hill could be in a 16-team league, kind of a sneaky super flex. But that's because they run him a lot, But he's not the dynasty quarterback there. So Winston has a shot. But I don't know. I don't know that I buy into Winston, man. This episode has turned into Reddit. Has it? What is it? Negative? You mean Tannehill's dad? Traded Henderson for Brady in a super flex. I love that. I like Henderson, but I don't completely believe that the Rams know what they're doing at all. So Hendy has not been ruled out of my mind. I love when people. I mean, even though I pop off at them, I pop off at people from a good place. It's me just hammering home points and content. Really, I mean, I'm not actually mad at anybody when I pop off. Like I said, I have pretty thick skin, but I also do react. I'm reactive. I'm a reactive man. But when people tell me, Smitty, this is how I picture him talking to me too. If I met him, Smitty. So you're wrong about N'Keal Harry, huh? And I'm like, no, 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 no. He was a rookie last year. You said top 10 last year. No? Did you watch any of my content? I said in 1 to 3 years he will be a top wide receiver in the league. Top maybe five wide receiver, definitely top 10 was my thinking. And then they're like, "No, you said it as a rookie." No, no, actually I didn't. Go watch my content before you make a comment. And why are you writing off a guy that was hurt last year, that looked really good at spots at the end of the year, has good rapport with his quarterback, and you're writing him off already, saying that he has no future? When did wide receivers need to be elite by their end of their first rookie season? A lot of rookies don't even go over 1,000 yards. Most rookies don't ever go over 1,000 yards as a rookie. So how has N'Keal Harry failed? Number one, how am I wrong about something that I said would take 1 to 3 years to take place? How could I be wrong about that yet? Because you don't like N'Keal Harry? That's what I love to pop off on, because it's the dumbest stuff I get approached on all the time. Smitty. So, think we can agree you were wrong about N'Keal Harry, who you said would take 3 years to turn into a stud, and he was hurt last year during his rookie year. I think we can all agree that you're wrong on N'Keal Harry, or Akers. Think it's time to say goodbye to your Darrell Henderson miss. What is Akers going to be handed? The same thing that Darrell Henderson was handed? like, don't act like Akers is a lock to get all the touches. Don't act like Akers is going to be the for sure guy. Like, are you kidding me? I love that these are the two arguments that I get hit with left and right, because they're the dumbest arguments I could ever hear. Like, if you want to say, I think Cam's the man, I think Henderson probably will bust, I'm okay with that. That's not dumb. That's a prediction. I respect it. I'm all about content like that. But when you take a hard-line stance and say, Cam Akers will do well, Darrell Henderson's done in a bust, you don't know that. the door is going to be open for Daryl Henderson more than it's going to be open for Cam Akers to start the year in a shortened offseason where Cam won't be able to absorb shit. And Cam is a raw talent that needs to do a lot of work and clean up his game and his skill set. He's not going to get handed starter carries out the gate. Are you kidding me? It's just the funniest stuff in the world. Those are the two things I get hit up most on. And it's just like, wow, that's where you're coming at me? Smitty, I think we can agree that you Tannehill's dad. Tannehill. We're gonna start calling you the counselor's dad. I'm a KC fan. Love Clyde Edwards-Helaire as much as anybody, but he's not worth anywhere close to his value in redraft. I'm gonna disagree with you, Dill. I'm gonna disagree with you, and I'm gonna take your season tickets away from you. Shame on you, Dill. I think Clyde is the man. Clyde is never going to see more than six men in a box, and he's going to break off so many big runs. It's ridiculous. I agree with you. Let's go over Clyde again, because I feel like when I read things like what was it? Who said that? I'm not trying to call you out. Oh yeah, I guess. Who said that? I see Smitty. Where is it at? Where was that Clyde comment? Who said that? Oh, Dill. I don't mean to call you out, Dill, but I'm gonna. I'm a KC fan. I love Clyde Edwards-Helaire as much as anybody. No, you don't. Like right there, you're wrong, Dill. Because how could you love him as much as anybody when you're telling me he's not gonna come close to his redraft value? So right then and there, you're wrong. Because you don't love him more than me, or you wouldn't be saying these nasty things about him. That's number one. Number two, Reed drooled over this guy. Mahomes said, I want Clyde and I want him now. And on top of that, if you watch his film, there is no way this guy's not going to translate if he's healthy. His skill set and all those micro movements I talk about, his ability to completely stay balanced no matter what hits him, like a bowling ball. Like you can't can you knock a bowling ball over, Dill? Can you knock a bowling ball on its back? You can't. I'll give you the answer. The answer is no. You can't knock a bowling ball on its back. That's him. You knock him, he's staying completely balanced and upright. He's like a ping or a pinball through defenders because when he hits something, he's bouncing around. But his ability to completely come at you, change directions, and just zip by you in a north and south fashion is unmatched. When he gets to the NFL, his patience, his vision, his ability to cut and his lateral movement is unmatched. Like I will say that already, and you can laugh at me all you want. You can call me names all you want. I'm not speaking to you necessarily, Joe. So don't take this to heart. I will say that there's no one in the league right now that he's going to enter the league and be the best cutting running back in the entire league immediately. That doesn't mean he's going to be better than McCaffrey. Doesn't mean he's going to be better than Barkley. He's the best, shiftiest runner immediately out of the gate. This is Barry Sanders-esque type moves. And if you think that's crazy, if that's a dumb statement to you, you need to go watch his film. Because his left to right movements, while he's actually going north and south, like north, he's going left and right while he's going north. It's an unbelievable ability to cut back left and right while he's still traveling forward. Like it's hard to describe. And his vision to literally go completely lateral and then knife through a hole is unmatched. And he's the best receiver in this draft class, the very best wide receiver in this draft class, going to an offense that throws the football to the wide receiver better than any offense in the entire NFL, to a team that's likely going to score more touchdowns than anybody else in the NFL, who was first round draft capital was spent on this guy, which means they're going to use him as quickly as they can. That may not be 10 carries in week one. It may be 7 carries in week one, 5 carries in week one, Could it be 0 carries in week 1? Who knows? He could get banged up in training camp, or they're not going to have training camp, get banged up in the part of the season that we're going to have, whatever it's going to be, and maybe he sits out week 1. Who knows? This guy is going to be utilized as quickly as they can utilize him. I would say that he pulls in 60-plus receptions as a rookie. That alone makes him a top 15 overall pick. If he's pulling as a running back in 60-plus receptions in that offense, he will be a top 15 safe, like the safety net is right around that range for this guy at 60 receptions. He will pull in 60 receptions as a rookie, if healthy, with ease. I'm talking ease. He could pull in, he's the kind of running back that could lead the league in running back receptions. Kyle says 15 touches a game, he's worth a top 10 pick. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's weird when I see this. So, Dill, it's hard for me, Dill, when you say you're a Chiefs fan, to read this from you. I'm going to turn you, Dill. By the end, don't sleep on him. It's a committee. Don't sleep on him. It's a committee. It's not a committee. It's not a committee. Andy Reid utilizes and uses a running back, bro. It wasn't. It was like last year. There have been a couple times where they've had rotations when, they haven't had an elite player in there, or there's been injuries or whatever. But Andy Reid utilizes and makes his running backs like fantasy league winners and elite running backs. This is not an offense that's going to run a committee when they have an elite back who they spent first-round draft capital on. That first-round draft capital is a lot. Being the number 1 drafted running back in the draft should tell you a lot. It speaks volumes about how much they're going to use them and how much they want to use them right away. 60-plus receptions in PPR makes him a top 15 overall pick safely nestles him right into the top 15 overall. So I have no problem making him my second round pick in redraft. I don't mind. It's my honor. The honor is all on this side of the table. If I get to make him my second round pick, I hope that I can make him my third round pick. I hope. I don't think I can. I think that's a tall order. And in Dynasty, I'll take him at 2.01 with a big old smile on my face. Just a real big smile. But you can say he busted who? Nobody breathed D'Anthony Thomas and Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the same sentence, please, ever again. Read my super chat. Sure. Oh, thank you. Sorry, Daniel. Daniel with the super chat. A little delayed. Never watched NFL before. How do I get into it? You want to get NFL Red Zone if you've never watched the NFL, Daniel. Are you playing fantasy? How'd you find the channel? If you don't mind me asking, if you don't watch NFL, how'd you even get here? I'm glad to have you. But the NFL Red Zone is the best way to watch football. I don't know if any cable providers or streaming services provide that. I don't know if you can get sling.com where you're at, but if you get sling.com, you can get the Red Zone channel, I believe, depending on your area. But the Red Zone channel plays. What's great about this is you'll see every touchdown from every game. You'll see like all the live action. They switch back and forth between all the games and who's about to score, and it's awesome. Or like Kennedy said, you can do NFL streams on Reddit, I guess. You can put. I would even compare Clyde to Hunt in a way. Yeah, maybe. Channel is nice. I'm just trying different things. NFL is really big, so I wanted to get into it. Good. Well, you're in the right place, Daniel. We're going to talk about bold stuff here. We're going to talk about cutting edge stuff. Will I have my misses? Yes, I will. But I'll also have my lands. Did I miss on Darrell Henderson? People say last year, which he hasn't even gotten a shot yet. He got 30 carries all year. Maybe. We'll see. That story is not yet told completely. But did I have Dalvin Cook in my top 5? did I have Aaron Jones as my number 6 bold prediction on the year. Like, this is where you're going to find bold stuff. I'm not cookie cutter. This Clyde Edwards-Helaire stuff's rubbing people the wrong way because I have him super high. But I see MJD, Maurice Jones-Drew. Daniel, if you don't know, Maurice Jones-Drew was one of the most unique running backs we've ever seen in fantasy football. Same exact frame, little bowling ball type guy that can't get knocked over. But the thing that's so crazy to me, I'm sorry I'm talking about Edwards-Helaire over and over and over, but the thing that I don't get that people aren't seeing, like, to me, it's like it's the most obvious thing I've ever seen. Like, I feel like this is the most obvious thing I've ever seen. Clyde Edwards-Helaire in that Kansas City offense with the trust that they have in it. Like, if Clyde got taken in like Green Bay, or Clyde got taken in a cloudier situation like Indianapolis, let's say, which a lot of people think is a good situation, but there's still some cloudiness there as to what's going to happen with Mac. Let's say Clyde Edwards-Helaire landed there. I could understand more the doubt that he may not be used. He was drafted as the first running back in the NFL draft in a time where rookie running backs don't get drafted in the first round. And if they do, it's like one, and that's it. But usually it's like second round now. Nobody wants to spend high draft capital on a running back. And the Chiefs did. And the Chiefs not only drafted a running back, they drafted a surprising running back to some because he's smaller type guy. But people that understand football, like Andy Reid, like Patrick Mahomes, they know that this guy is going to be one of the best running backs in the entire NFL. And you can take that however you want. You don't like it, that's fine. I still want you here. I'm not mad at you. Trust your gut. I'm not right about everything. This could be something I'm wrong on. I'll admit that nothing's for sure. But I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire will be one of the best running backs in the NFL. Super fast, man. I don't know how fast, but super fast. He will be one of the best running backs in the entire league, like that, because you're injecting this guy into a freaking phenomenal offense. There is not a better situation for a running back to be in if Andy Reid believes in you and feeds you all the work. And being a first-round pick, having Pat Mahomes say on the phone to Andy Reid when he called him during the pick and said, "Who do you want, Pat? What does my MVP want?" And Pat said, "Clyde, draft Clyde." Do you know what Burrow said about Clyde? Because Joe Burrow, his teammate, said that Clyde is the best football player he's ever played with. So listen to that for a second. Take that in. Now, I know that's his teammate, but so are the other teammates that he's saying aren't as good as Clyde. So if you want to say that's a hot take or a crazy reaction by Burrow, think about that. What he's saying to the other teammates that he also played with. Joe Burrow said that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is the best football player he's ever played with. Joe Burrow, do you know who Joe Burrow played football with? Because Joe Burrow didn't just play football at LSU. Joe Burrow touched a lot of different players in his time playing. So he had teammates that I'm going to surprise the hell out of you. Do you know who Joe Burrow played football with? Who he said are not as good of football players as Clyde Edwards-Helaire? Both Bosa brothers, Chase Young, Mike Thomas. Yes, Scott, he did. Michael Thomas. Joe Burrow said Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a better football player than Mike Thomas, both Bosa brothers, Chase Young, and a whole hell of a lot more players that would shock the hell out of you because Burrow's played with a ton of people. How does that not impress you? Dill says, better situation, yes, but Mahomes is getting 4,500 yards at least and 40 TDs easily, but Williams will be stealing touches away from Clyde Edwards as a rookie year. But Dill, you're assuming, just like I'm assuming that you're wrong on that, you're assuming that I'm wrong on that, and that's where it's going to end. I mean, there's no argument either one of us have that's going to convince the other. If you think Dame Williams is going to be getting too many carries for Clyde to be a top 15 overall pick, then that's where we're just going to agree to disagree, and that's it. Clyde Edwards-Helaire will have 60 receptions or more in that offense, even if he starts off slow. And that alone, thank you, Daniel. See you. Keep coming back. That alone will outscore Damian Williams, bro. Like, Damian Williams had 10 TDs in the final 6 games of 2018. It was the second hottest running back in the league to end that entire season. That spanned into the playoffs. That wasn't the last 6 regular season games. That was Damian Williams' final 6 games in 2018. He had 10 TDs in 6 games. Only Zeke Elliott outplayed him. So when you talk about, Dill, that Pat Mahomes is going to throw too much this, a lot of those TDs and yards are going to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the number 1 rookie running back in this draft class, potentially already, in my mind, a top 5 overall PPR running back in the NFL before he's touched the ball in NFL football. And I don't care if that's bold. I don't care if someone says, how can you say that, Smitty, when he hasn't even touched a football in the NFL? Because I can. That's why. Because I just did. And because I'm in the prediction business, baby. And my predictions, Clyde Edwards-Helaire's a top 5 PPR running back as a rookie. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire's a top 5 running back in 2020, even in redraft. Let me repeat that. My prediction is Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a top 5 PPR running back in 2020. And of course in Dynasty, and a top 5 to 10 running back overall in 2020. And of course in Dynasty. He is going to be, when we look back on this draft, that one guy that how did every other team let him slip past them? And people thought Kansas City drafted him too early. And the other thing is going to be frustrating. And again, I'm not saying I'm right about everything, but this feels like this feels obvious. I kind of don't understand. I feel like I'm living in a weird world right now, bizarro world, because I'm fighting an uphill battle. Yes, MT, watch his film. That's really the only thing I should be telling people that are fighting against me right now. Have you watched the film yet? If you have, I really wonder what the hell you're watching. Because when you watch Clyde Edwards-Helaire's film, watch his YouTube footage, how can you miss it? How can you miss that this guy is the next top 5 running back in the NFL? How can you watch Clyde Edwards-Helaire completely make defenders look foolish, and he played the best competition? That's the other part that's crazy. Like, people coming at me saying, oh, Darrell Henderson, this, that, this is the same thing as Darrell Henderson last year. Clyde Edwards-Helaire dominated the best competition out there. Clyde Edwards-Helaire made the best defenders miss time and time again. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was leaned on by his team in the most dire of situations when they needed to score a touchdown to win games and win one of the biggest games. And they lean on this guy, and he delivers. Clyde Edwards-Helaire made the best of the best in this draft class. There's footage all over the place. Be unable to tackle him, look like fools trying to tackle this guy. Clyde Edwards-Helaire did it against all of the best competition. And if you watch the film knowing that, if you watch the film and you pause things and you look at him darting through a hole with amazing vision, catching passes better than anybody in the entire world of college football, trusted by his team to win games and carry the load down the stretch when the game was on the line, where he got better with every carry, did not wear down. He got better with every carry. Carried bigger people 4 and 5 yards at a time, moving piles running it up the middle, not just breaking it to the outside, a spin move that's insane, the ability to press the hole and hit those gaps, the ability to play in a zone scheme, and the ability to play essentially any scheme that an offense, like he could play anything. He could, no matter what offense you put this guy in, he would thrive. Whether it's him trying to hit the A, B gap, whatever, or play wide receiver for, I think, what was the stat? I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire led the nation. Here, let me tell you this, Dill. Clyde Edwards-Helaire led the nation, I think. I'll have to find this stat, but I think it's something around 25% of the time he lined up as a wide receiver, which I think was number one in the country. It's obvious to me. Like it's almost frustrating. It's obvious. I believe, I'm not 100 on that stat, but I'm pretty sure I can look it up after. I believe he was number one in the nation lining up as a wide receiver, as a running back. Who's got the negativity, Kyle? You talking about me? Give me time to Google at MT. Who's negative, Kyle? Getting a running back in the first round also ushers the Chiefs. Yeah. So did Jacobs, though. Tannehill's dad. Smitty, would you take Clyde Edwards-Helaire over Jacobs? Probably, bro. Oh, in the chat. Don't be negative in the chat, guys. Come on. Don't run Kyle off unless Kyle was the one being negative. Kyle, I don't know. I didn't read it, so I'm trusting you. Smitty is Tannehill's dad. MT is insane. Smitty is exposing who I am going to be taking in every draft right now. Really, Smitty, I still think Jacobs has more value. Scott, I'm not going to argue with you like if you like Jacobs more. That I understand that. But I'm just telling you right now, it's obvious to me that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to get probably as much fantasy production in the passing game as a majority of the running backs in the NFL will get total. You know what I mean? So if you think about it from that perspective, and maybe you disagree with that, maybe you think he won't get 65 receptions or whatever. But if Clyde Edwards-Helaire gets 65 receptions for 650 and 5 TDs all in the air, and Pat Mahomes will give him that if he's healthy because Pat Mahomes requested it. Give me Clyde. I want King Edwards, and I want him now. If he gets 65 for 650 and 5, what does he got to do on the ground to lock in top 10 running back numbers? Not a whole lot. I see what you mean. It's just the bulk of Jacobs. Yeah, I mean, I get it. And that's why I'm not going to call you crazy if you like Jacobs more. But I'm telling you right now, man, the safety net for this guy in the PPR department is going to salvage any mishap, injuries, miscalculation on my part in terms of how much they want to run him up the middle and how crazier things happen where a coach is like, well, we're going to ease him in so we can keep him healthy for the long term. I mean, sure, anything can happen, but I'm taking that chance on Clyde because the film screams to me that this guy is elite. And if it was just the film, so let's take Darrell Henderson, that miss as an example, because you guys, a lot of you think I missed on that. I still think there's a story to be told here. Darrell Henderson does not let that kung fu grip go on that starting job, and Akers ain't going to get things handed to him right away. So there's a little time for Hendy to prove it. But even if you want to call that a miss, let's say I accepted that argument that D. Hendy was a miss. What do you have going against D. Hendy? You have limited competition, unsure about the coaching staff loving the guy. Are they going to use him? That's what I missed on. I didn't miss on Darrell Henderson's talent. I'll take that to my grave. Even if I get the coronavirus, I'll take it to my grave. But what I miscalculated for 2020 And I missed on Daryl Henderson in the sense of how quickly he could emerge. I'm not willing to accept that he's done yet. But did I misunderstand that coaching staff? Absolutely. On me. I've already taken a lap for that. I've admitted that I misjudged the Rams coaching staff. But when you take a look at Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the risk factors that were there for Hendy aren't there for him. So you have a coaching staff that totally believes in him. You have the only guy that really matters, freaking Patty Mahomes, who wants him there and wants him as the starter. You know the usage will be there. You know the team loves him. You could argue that Hendy had really weak competition in college. You can't argue that with Clyde. Clyde had the toughest competition in college, and he dominated everybody in college. Dominated. Flat out dominated. The best competition, the players that got drafted the highest in this 2020 NFL draft class on the defensive side of the football, Clyde Edwards-Helaire dominated this draft class. Dominated. I bet you if you asked the draft class, the 2020 incoming rookie defensive players, who the best running back in the NFL or the NFL draft class is, they would probably tell you Clyde Edwards-Helaire is impossible to tackle one-on-one, the human bowling ball. That would be an interesting interview. So all those red flags there, Clyde passes with flying colors. Then you look at his film, just flat out dominates. You look at his skill set, unmatched. And then you look at the PPR protection that he's got. I'm going to end it there. I'm going to try not to rant and rave on Clyde every single time I come on here, but it's hard not to when people give me a reason to. Maybe I've got to do a 20,000 Clyde, 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 Clyde show. Requests? Anybody want that? How high will Clyde Edwards go in redraft? I think he goes in the top 15 real soon, man, in redraft. Do you talk about Burrow at all? Not too much in this one. Burrow is a great talent. He's kind of growing on me, and I think T. Higgins landing in since he's good. I just don't know that Burrow's going to have a great start, especially with the offseason that these rookies are going to have, unusual offseason. And that, to me, puts Burrow at risk of disappointing early on, which could put Mixon at risk of disappointing early on. And I think in time, Burrow, Higgins, it'll be a good option. All right, guys, appreciate all of you. Thank you for the super chats, and let's not be